Riders of Destiny, 1933. A gang takes control of the water in a semi-desert region, charging exorbitant prices. The local inhabitants face difficulties to survive until a young stranger arrives to help them. Director, Robert N. Bradbury. Screenplay, Robert N. Bradbury. Leading cast, John Wayne, Cecilia Parker, Forrest Taylor. Synopsis: Saunders, a mysterious young man, rides through the countryside and finds a wounded sheriff whom he assists. Soon after, he witnesses an assassination attempt on a young woman named Faye Denton, whom he helps. When he infiltrates a stagecoach involved in the attack, he discovers that the bandits work for Kincaid, a landowner who controls the region's water, selling it at abusive prices in order to ruin the ranchers. Saunders, collaborating with Faye and her father, leads a resistance against Kincaid, neutralizes his henchmen, and returns the river to its course after an ingenious plan. Eventually, he reveals himself to be a Secret Service agent investigating the ranchers' complaints. In a dramatic climax, he pursues Kincaid, who drowns while attempting to flee. Production: Riders of Destiny is a low-budget, medium-length film produced by Lone Star Productions, part of Monogram Pictures, which specializes in budget westerns. It was John Wayne's first western with this company and marked the beginning of a series of films where he played singing cowboys. John Wayne and his role. In 1933, John Wayne's career was stagnant after minor participations at Warner Brothers signing with Lone Star. He shot 8 films with budgets between $8,000 and $12,000, earning $2,500 per film. In Riders of Destiny, he played Sandy the Singer, a singing cowboy who didn't really sing, as his voice was dubbed. Although Wayne hated this aspect, he excelled in the action scenes, establishing himself as an actor with unique charisma. Cast and characters: Cecilia Parker, Faye Denton, the heroine whose relationship with Saunders is left open for future stories. Forrest Taylor, Kincaid, the villain who monopolizes the water. His end, drowning in the river, symbolizes his defeat. George Hayes, Denton, Faye's father and Saunders' ally. Al St. John and Heine Conklin, comedians who play 2 bumbling henchmen of Kincaid. Yakima Cannon, performed impressive action scenes, such as an acrobatic leap in a wagon, a precursor to stunts in Stagecoach, 1939. Historical context: the Great Depression affected cinema, forcing studios to resort to the double bill, 2 films for the price of 1. This prompted the production of low-budget films, such as those of Lone Star, which complemented the main theatrical productions. Monogram Pictures, founded by W. Ray Johnston, specialized in westerns and genre films with promising young or declining actors. Impact: although considered a minor production, Riders of Destiny cemented Wayne as a promising figure in the genre. His performance combined toughness, charisma, and ingenuity, characteristics that defined his later career. John Wayne as a singing cowboy. This was one of the first films in which John Wayne played a singing cowboy, a type of character that was gaining popularity in 1930s. However, Wayne could not sing, so his voice was dubbed by a baritone, although the identity of the singer is still debated. Some point to Glenn Strange or Jack Kirk. Wayne hated this role because it felt awkward and inauthentic. Limited budget. Like most Lone Star productions, Riders of Destiny had a very low budget, between $8,000 and $12,000. This forced the filmmakers to work quickly. The shooting of the film was completed in only 3 or 4 days. These constraints meant that many scenes were shot on location with minimal resources, taking advantage of the natural landscapes. The beginning of a great collaboration. During the production, John Wayne worked with Yakima Cannon, a legendary stuntman who performed some of the most dangerous stunts of the era. The collaboration between Wayne and Cannon marked the beginning of a working relationship that would continue in films such as Stagecoach, 1939, where Cannon performed his famous stunt scene under a carriage. Innovations with water on stage. A key scene in the film shows how a well tapped by the protagonist restores the natural course of the river, releasing water for the ranchers. Although this was a simple effect, it was very effective for the film's narrative. However, due to the low budget, the filming of this scene had to be done with a real but reduced water flow, manipulating small channels to simulate the release of the river. John Wayne and his salary. For his participation in this film, Wayne earned about $250 per Lone Star film, which was a decent income during the Great Depression. Although he knew that these films would not boost his career right away, they helped him stay active in the film industry and develop his unique style. Humor on the set. On set, Al St. John and Heine Conklin, the actors who played Kincaid's bumbling henchmen, would improvise jokes and slapstick, causing Wayne and other actors to break into laughter between takes. This humorous touch lightened the working atmosphere during filming. Problems with horses. During filming, there was an incident with John Wayne's white horse. The animal, named Duke after the actor's nickname, was well trained for action scenes, but became upset in one take when unexpected gunshots were fired, forcing the final chase scene to be repeated several times to Wayne's transition to the big leagues. Although this film was not a big hit, it helped cement John Wayne as a recurring figure in low-budget westerns. Years later, directors like John Ford would look to these films as they considered Wayne for more ambitious projects. The film has been the subject of retrospective analysis. For example, in a contemporary review, it is mentioned that, despite its low budget, the film has a polished look. In addition, it is noted that, while the inclusion of songs may seem like a gimmick, the film itself surpasses some of the productions Wayne was making in that period. In summary, Riders of Destiny was not a standout hit in its day, but over time it has been recognized for its contribution to the development of the singing cowboy archetype and for its role in John Wayne's early career.
Cecilia Parker, April 26, 1914 to July 25, 1993, was a Canadian-born American actress. She was best known for playing Marion Hardy, Andy Hardy's sister, in 11 of the Andy Hardy series of films. Cecilia Parker was born on April 26, 1914 in Fort William, Ontario, Canada. Her mother, Naughty Anna Parker, took her to Southern California as a child. Her father, an English soldier, was originally from England. In 1931, Parker graduated from the convent of the Immaculate Heart in Hollywood while living with her parents in Los Angeles. She was selected by Fox Film for a training school for young talent. She made her debut alongside George O'Brien in The Rainbow Trail, 1932, a sequel to Zane Grey's Riders of the Purple Sage. Later, he starred in Jungle Mystery, 1932 to 1933, with Tom Tyler, and in 1933, he acted in The Trail Drive and Riders of Destiny, one of the first singing cowboy films with John Wayne. That year, she also appeared in Rainbow Ranch. After playing Greta Garbo's sister in The Painted Veil, 1934, she signed a 7-year contract with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, starting with a salary of $75 a week. In 1935, she bought a house in Beverly Hills and began ballet and singing studies at MGM. Parker excelled as Marion Hardy in the successful series of Andy Hardy films, 1937 to 1940, alongside Mickey Rooney. Although her character was absent in the later 1940s installments, she returned for Andy Hardy Comes Home, 1958, which unsuccessfully attempted to revive the series. Subsequently, she went into the real estate business with her husband in Ventura, California. In 1938, she married actor Robert Baldwin, who helped her obtain U.S. citizenship in 1940. Her sister Linda was also an actress, and both shared a close friendship with and Shirley. Cecilia Parker died on July 25, 1993, at the age of 79, after a long illness. She was survived by her husband, 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. Her husband passed away in 1996. Edwin Forrest Taylor, December 29, 1883 to February 19, 1965, was an American actor whose career spanned 6 decades, from silent films to sound and color. Early years. He was born in Bloomington, Illinois. His father ran the Dreamland Theater in Kewanee, Illinois, and in 1916 promoted Western films starring his son. Career. Theater. Taylor began as an actor and theatrical manager. In 1908, he transformed the Empire Amusement Company, leading it to success. In 1922, he directed his own company after working with the Majestic Theater Players in Los Angeles. On Broadway, he performed in Open House, 1947, and We, the People, 1932. Film. He started in silent films such as The Terror of Twin Mountains, 1915, and True Nobility, 1916. After serving in World War I, he returned to film in 1926 with A Poor Girl's Romance. In the 1930s, he appeared in more than 400 films, mainly westerns and action serials, excelling at Republic Pictures. His last film was Bitter Creek, 1954. Television. Taylor also worked in television, playing Grandpa Fisher in This Is the Life, 1952 to 1954, and The Minister in Cheyenne. He retired in 1963 after an episode of Ripcord. Personal life and death. He was married to actress Ada Daniels, with whom he had 2 children. Taylor died of natural causes on February 19, 1965, in Garden Grove, California, at the age of 81. George Francis Gabby Hayes, May 7, 1885 to February 9, 1969, was an American actor. He began as a leading and character actor, but was best known for his numerous appearances in B-movie serials of the Western genre as the comical, mustachioed, cantankerous, but always loyal and courageous sidekick of Cowboy movie stars William Boyd, Roy Rogers, and John Wayne. George Hayes was born at his father's hotel, the Hayes Hotel, in Stanitz, New York, the third of 7 children. Hayes always listed Wellsville as his birthplace, but legally he was born in Stanitz. He was the son of Elizabeth Morrison and Clark Hayes. In addition to operating the hotel, his father was also involved in oil production, an industry that began in that part of the country. His siblings included his brothers William W. Morrison and Clark B., and his sisters, Nellie Elizabeth Hayes Ebeling and Harriet Hattie Elizabeth Hayes Allen. Morrison Hayes, a corporal in the U.S. Army, was killed in action on July 19, 1918, during World War I in France, and was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for his actions during the war. The American Legion Post in Wellsville, New York, is named in his honor. George's uncle on his mother's side was George F. Morrison, Vice President of General Electric. Hayes grew up in Stanitz and attended Stanitz School. During high school, he played semi-pro baseball. At 17, he left home to join a theater company, travel with a circus, and become a successful vaudeville performer. He was known for comedy sketches such as The Rube Constable.